Welcome back to the Salon CEO podcast. Today I'm talking to Katie from Hair Bae. A lot of you might obviously recognise Katie from working for me for a few years. So welcome, Katie.
Hi. It's been a while, hasn't it?
I know.
I feel like we literally haven't seen each other for ages.
I know, but we do speak all the time though, which is really nice.
Literally.
So I thought it'd be really nice to start with how we obviously originally met.
Yeah.
So I'll let
story.
you take over and tell the story.
So I had hair extensions and the girl that I had went on maternity. So one of my friends used to come to Chloe and she was like, go to Big Hair Big Dreams, like blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll try her. So I went in, started having my hair done. And to be fair, how long was I coming to? Probably like a good year, I reckon.
Yeah, something like a year, I reckon.
Yeah. And I got a set of hair, I got a weave. And then obviously I went back for my refits. We always chatted, we always got on. And then I was in there one day getting a new set of hair done. It was quite late at night, weren't it, when I was having it done. And it was just Chloe and a girl, Charlotte, who used to work with us as well, that was in there. And Chloe was just asking me loads of questions. She was like, how you getting on at work then? Like, you know, how's it all going? Are you busy? Like, and I was a bit like, yeah, I'm busy. But like where I was, I'd trained at this place. So I feel like when you train somewhere, no one really sees you as anything but the apprentice.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
That's the thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like obviously people think that you can't do it still, even when you are qualified.
Even when you are doing it, that's the trouble.
Which I get because, you know, that's how you started there. So, yeah, she was asking me loads of questions and then I left and I was like, just thinking to myself, like, why was she asking me so many questions? Like, it was,
I think because on that day you actually told me so much about you and you kind of told me your story.
Yeah.
And then I think we were just like really getting to know each other. And then I was like, I really like this girl. And then obviously I just started asking you loads of questions about obviously what you were doing.
Yeah.
And then, obviously I messaged you, didn't I? Like when you left and said about, like, do you want a job?
Yeah.
And you were just a bit like...
I remember I was on my way home and I was on the phone to my friend and I was like, she was asking me loads of questions and I literally said, I was like, just give me a job, Chloe, like this, to my friend. And I literally went in Sainsbury's and I come out, I looked at my message request and you were like, hi, sorry to message you so late. I know it's a bit random, but do you want a job? And I was like,
literally. I know, it's mad. And I remember you being like, I think you actually left me hanging.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it was like Christmas time, wasn't it?
Yeah, I did.
And you left me hanging for like a week and I was like...
I think it was actually 2 weeks. So I was like, can you give me 2 after Christmas?
That was it, yeah, because obviously you were at the place you were at and you were like, felt really loyal to them, obviously.
Yeah. They was like, where I was before, they were literally like family to me. And I just felt so guilty leaving. But at the end of the day, you know, I wanted to get into hair extensions and... just do something different. So
and then obviously then you started and then we worked together, didn't we? Like, so it was me and you and about a year, wasn't it? And then obviously we got into the new salon.
Yeah.
And then what happened then? Oh, so you were we're trained doing extensions, wasn't it? The January. And then we had, was it the January? I feel like it was.
I feel like we briefly did it before Christmas, but then the Christmas rush come, and then I did it properly in January. Started doing like more models and things like that.
That was it.
And then obviously, when did you get Woodham Salon? When was it?
So I got the salon in the February, and then we were meant to open in the April. I think.
But I remember.
And then obviously lockdown happened, didn't it?
I remember you saying to me like, "Oh, I'm opening a new salon. I want you to be manager of it." And I was like, "Oh yeah." And then you're like, "Right, we're going to teach you extensions." And I was like, "Right, okay, double whammy."
Literally, wasn't it? And then obviously the plan at the time was to be like half. Like I was going to be half and half, wasn't I? So I was going to be there half the time, and then obviously in the Colchester one half the time, and then obviously flipping
Liv come along.
Well, no, it was lockdown, wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
sorry. So Liv was the year after. Yeah, so
was she?
21.
Oh.
Yeah. So lockdown happened and then what happened?
We finally got to open in July.
The July,
it was
that was
ready.
It.
We were like,
that was it.
Right,
oh
ready
my God,
to
I'll
open.
never forget like me and you at my house in lockdown, literally just like messaging all these clients. Like we had lists, didn't we? We had like lists of people.
Oh my God.
Like trying to get all these people back in. And it was at the time it was just me and you.
Yeah.
And we were just like, what are we gonna do? Like we had all these people.
Oh my God, we were having to like message them all, ring them all, and then it was like, are we even gonna be allowed to open at this
it was
date?
actually crazy, wasn't it?
And we had to wear a bloody face mask when we was
God,
working.
visors, like everything. It was mad, wasn't it?
Oh my God. When you think back on that time, you just think, what on earth was that?
I know, it's actually crazy, isn't it? It's actually, I feel like feels like so long ago, but not. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's only 4 years ago.
I know. Like we were just saying about us coming in here for the first time after lockdown.
I know.
I don't know what we was doing. I feel like maybe we was just bringing some things up here ready to open, weren't we?
Yeah. I think we would. I don't know what we were doing.
Dance.
I think we were doing like furniture or whatever, weren't we?
Yeah.
I can't remember. So then obviously you were here for another 3 years.
Yeah, so when was that? We opened July 2020 for Woodham, and then I left in April. Yeah, basically nearly 3. Yeah. Well, I worked here for 3 years, worked for you for nearly 4 years.
For 4 years, yeah. So
I started with you when I was 20. Because you remember my 21st in
oh my
Colchester,
God,
and you done me all them. Oh, you printed up all these selfies of me and posted them all in the salon. I was like, am I that vain? I loved it though. And the cake that we had with the Barbie
cake,
in it.
I know.
Oh,
and the big 21 sign, that was so cute, wasn't it?
Literally loved it.
I actually have to try and find that video of you walking in.
I don't know why, but I was just not expecting that at all. Like, obviously, I didn't expect you to do that in general, but I was just like shocked when I come in. I was like, oh, so
I know.
cute.
And I feel like I remember when it was like anyone's 21st, and I was like, oh my God, I've made like a right rod of my back now, because everyone's going to expect like cake, balloons, like everything.
Yeah, it was 21st only. No other
birthdays.
No,
I know.
Just 21st. If you ain't turning 21 here, you ain't getting nothing.
Yeah, no, I think when Charlotte was like, I'm going to be 30, and I was like, oh God.
Oh God. Need to pull out the stops
what
even
have
more.
I started? I know, crazy. So obviously then going on to work for yourself.
Yeah.
How do you find, obviously from going to, like from working for, I know you did a lot obviously by yourself here anyway when you were a manager, but how did you then find the realities of going completely by yourself? Obviously I know a lot of clients went with you, but how did you find like managing everything with, just even building on new clients as well?
I feel like the management side of it, like, wasn't what I struggled on. Like, example, I don't know, like making sure you got stock, making sure you got everything, and like the actual work side, you know what I'm like, I'm not shy of a bit of working till 10 o'clock at night.
Oh my God,
that doesn't bother me at all. More for me, I actually like almost felt a bit lonely, because I went from working with people and working like in a team, like even we had like obviously like a group chat and like things like that, to then solely going on your own. I remember like for the first I think week of me being there, my telly hadn't been put up yet, and we always had a telly in it. We always loved watching the telly in the salon, and I just had this little speaker and I was listening to the radio all day, and I was like, I hate it. I was like, what have I done? I didn't regret obviously like doing it for myself,
of course,
because that was something that was always going to be my next step.
And we knew it. Like I always said to you, didn't I? I was like, you're like a little mini me.
Yeah,
so
literally,
like,
you've always said that.
Always said that. So I knew that the day was going to come one day that you would do your own thing, and obviously I'm so happy that you and still doing it and doing amazing at it. And I think that's like one of the things that I wish for anyone that's ever left, that they always do like their own thing and they do the best, because at the end of the day,
it happens, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean?
And that's the thing.
And it's
fine. It happens. And, at the end of the day, everyone needs to do their own thing. You get to that age where you think, all right, of course
you don't. You've done it to someone.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
100%. I did it. So that's what you expect everyone else to do.
Yeah.
So how do you find then with like juggling like social media, clients? How do you find that kind of balance?
The clients, fine. Like I say, working fine. The thing that I struggle with the most, and I will openly admit this, is messages and social media. Like, I'm either all or nothing. I'm doing it every second of the day. I'm posting 20 stories and replying to everyone within 1 second. Or you won't hear from me for about 5 days because I'm just so rushed off my feet. I honestly find myself in bed at night, most nights, replying to people at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, because I'm like, I need to do it now, otherwise I'm never going to do it. And I think I'm just not very good at setting myself that time
to do that.
Yeah. For example, 100%. I could set an hour in my day where I'm like, right, I'm going to do messages in this hour.
Like first hour of work or whatever.
Exactly.
But I think as well for you, like you have always just worked. Like even when you were at the salon, you worked outside the salon. Like you've always, every single hour of the day.
I literally work from lunch break every day. Like,
you literally would just be like work. So are you still like that now? Like you won't allow time for messages or...
Yeah.
So
I don't...
But then also,
I don't not allow for time for it, because I do obviously do it. Like, I always make sure no one's waiting longer than 48 hours at a most. And that might be because the thing is with it that I struggle with is in my head, I'm like replying to everyone. And I'm like, right, can't reply to you because I'm waiting for this person to see whether they want that appointment. If they don't want it, you can have it.
Isn't it? Like literally, it's like, where can I put that person? Like here and here.
But that's what I say I struggle the most. And also with content, I feel like I forget that that's going to take time out of my day. So I'll do a client, before pics, all these like video ideas, and then it comes to the after, I'm like, oh my God, I've got 5 minutes to do this, when like people actually don't realise, do they, how long it takes to get a good picture.
I know.
Especially of new hair. Oh my God.
I know. It's like a task in itself, isn't it? And that's the thing, like I think, as doing it for yourself and doing everything, it really is like one of the things of juggling, like you've got an idea in your head of being like, oh my God, I'm going to film this. It's going to be like a trending audio, whatever it's going to be. And then you're like, reality is I've got my next client in 5 minutes time, and you're thinking, probably not going to happen. So yeah, it's definitely one of those things. But what would you say is like the best thing about working for yourself?
I mean, obviously the money, because, you know, you're never going to earn the best money possible working for someone else, because
of course not.
That's the point why they've done that, because they want to, you know, they've built that themselves, and that's absolutely fine. But yeah, the money, I reckon my money like quadrupled when I left, and went for myself, and it's allowed me to do so many things this year. Like I've been on like 5 holidays. I'm going away for 6 weeks in like on Boxing Day, and
I
like
can't believe you're going to Thailand.
I know, what the hell? Who am I? I'm not taking a backpack though. I don't think I could do that. I think I'll be in my suitcase trying to drag it along the beach.
I can imagine you like with this massive massive suitcase like overflowing.
But it's allowed me to be able to have that time off
100%.
work. Like obviously January is not a busy time, you know, for hair anyway. So I just thought, you know what, it's perfect. But like, it's just allowed me to do so much more freedom, even though I work like a crazy woman in between all these holidays. It's so worth it to be able to go away whenever you want and just have no stress of it.
I think sometimes in life you just get to the point where you think, what do I really want?
Yeah.
You know, what do I really want? As much as it's kind of like maybe doesn't agree with everyone else or whatever, you just have to think of like, what do you really want? You
100%.
know, and as much as I remember when you told me you were leaving, and I was like, okay, that's not great for me, but I'm so happy for you.
Yeah,
because I knew what was in store, and you know, you could literally just do whatever you want in life. And the fact that you haven't got any kids or anything like that, it's like I was like, fucking go for it.
Yeah,
you know, that sort of thing. So
it just gives you so much more, as you know, like just freedom in general. 100%. Like even for you, like you've got 2 lovely little girls now, and you're able to juggle mum life around work life, even though you work like a crazy person as well. But it allows you to do it, and I feel like. People always think, like, I feel like at school and stuff like that, like people push you to be a nurse, be a doctor, be this and be that, and that's an amazing job to do. Like, you know,
I feel like the hair industry, obviously, I like to think that it's not a thing now, but obviously when we were probably younger, it was more like, oh, you know, don't do hair because there's not much money in it. I'm like, that's completely gone.
No,
like 100%. Gone,
people always say to me, like, I've had like ex-boyfriends before who obviously like maybe haven't been with someone that does hair before, and then like I'm working and they're like, I can't believe, like, not saying I'm some bloody millionaire or something, but obviously you do earn really well.
Yeah.
People shocked. Like I even went to Ibiza recently, and one of my friends, we were talking about like salary and stuff, and I told her like roughly how much I earned, and she was like, are you joking me? She went, are you joking? She's like, from hair? I went, yeah.
I know, it's crazy,
don't just work all these hours for no reason, babe.
And that's it. And do you know what? It's so nice, because I know some people obviously don't like talking about money or whatever, but it's so nice that you can just do that, and because you do work so hard for it, and you've gained your clients over the years. And then like going from gaining clients, do you feel like, how do you feel like you find your clients now? Are they through like recommendation? Are they still through social media?
Well, how people come to me now, new
how
people.
Do people find you?
Yeah, a bit of both really. Like, I mean, what would we do without Instagram? Let's
Honestly,
be real.
I don't know.
Oh my God, like it's actually mental. Like where my little like salon is, I've got like a little unit, obviously, haven't I? It's behind like some shops.
Isn't it?
It's not visible. Like it's not like your Colchester salon isn't visible, but I remember when I was getting that, and I can't remember, someone said to me, like someone a little bit older said to me like, oh, you're not going to get the footfall though, and I was like, you don't need it though, like, and that's how amazing Instagram is now, that you literally get all your clients through there. So Instagram, word of mouth, but obviously the more you push your Instagram, the more clients you're going to get, the more you 100%. Get your name out there. People come to you, people want to see the lovely posts and the lovely like, do you know what I mean, the lovely hair.
And that's the thing, like, and I feel like when people look on your Instagram, and mainly your Instagram as well, it's like it's very big transformations, you know, like you will do everything in a day, you know, and I think people love that they can just literally go one day. I mean, do you do consultations still? Do you just so you obviously they come for consultation, and then they can just do complete colour change, hair extensions,
full shebang,
and they love that, you know, because it's one of them things that I think when people do see maybe someone online, they're like, oh, I'm not too sure where to go, and they can see you and think, actually,
this person,
you're the right girl for me, because I know I can just get it all in one sitting.
It's
you know what I mean?
Because probably like back in the day, you just walk in your local hairdressers and you'd be like, right, can I have a full head of highlights, please?
Yeah.
But things have completely changed, and like with anything in general, like nails, lashes, hair,
I know that's how I find my people.
Yeah.
It's literally Instagram. It's
And
probably the same, you know, with anything you do.
But you wouldn't go somewhere now without seeing their page.
Yeah.
So it's so important.
Or like research, even like
that.
researching like someone. If I found someone I've never heard of, I'd look them up on Instagram.
100%.
Or Facebook or whatever, and be like, oh, what do they do, you know?
Yeah, you wouldn't just walk in somewhere and be like, oh, hi, can I have my hair done? I mean, some people might, but I feel like nowadays girls are so like...
not particular,
like not fussy, but like what they want, a certain thing that they want,
basically,
and that's obviously completely fair enough. It's your hair, do you know what I mean? And
exactly,
it completely changes you, like when you go for a different color or whatever. But I feel like nowadays people, it's just so important.
It is so true. And then how do you feel about like? Do you like? I don't know, obviously, who's in your area, but like competition-wise, do you ever look at competition? Or are you bothered? Is there anyone that is like round you think you're quite similar to them or not? Do you feel like where you are now is like no one does your kind of thing? Or do you feel like there's a lot of girls that do extensions?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like...
I know you, and I know that you don't probably ever really look.
No, like I'm not really that bothered. Like I'm only bothered about things when I... Say someone like posts like really good... You know, like you're so good at posting. I don't reckon there's been a day that you haven't posted something for about 20 years. Do you know what I mean? Like I'll go days about doing it. I need to really sort my life out.
It's hard though.
It is hard.
It's hard, yeah.
But, sorry, what was the question again?
About competition. Like, do you feel like there's like many girls around you? Yeah,
the only thing that ever like would bother me personally is not as in personally, but like when I'm a bit hard on myself, is I see people doing their like posting all their stuff every day, and I'm like, Katie, sort it out. But in terms of competition, not really. I feel like
you're not really like that as a person anyway. Like to look at competition.
No.
But then do you maybe ever look at people and think, oh, I'd like to do that? Like with Hair Bae, where is your next step? Like, are you just happy doing what you're doing, or do you want to add something else in, or do you want to add anyone in?
I'm actually in a bit of a predicament about it at the minute, because obviously this year I have been away a lot, and I feel like I've worked, but I haven't put what I want to do next, my next steps. So I've put that on the back burner because I thought, you know what, this year I just want to live my life a little
100%.
bit, go away, like I say what you were saying earlier, like I've got no kids, I've got no ties,
just live your like best life.
Yeah, and I feel like this year I've just really tried to, live my life and not been so like work. But I feel like
a bit more work-life balance.
I'm just in a bit of a predicament. Like, do I get staff? I mean, I do want to rent a chair out definitely, because I feel like that's just kind of easy. But like, I'm like, do I get staff? Do I want people working for me? Do I want to be someone's manager? Like, I don't like. And then I'm like what you do with the training, I'd love to get into that, because I feel like
we've definitely spoke about it before, haven't we?
That is something that I feel like I'd be good at. And also, like, I remember when you started doing it, you were like, oh, it's such a nice change, isn't it? Like, it's
like a different like reward.
Yeah,
even like now when I speak to my students, I'm like, how are you getting on? And it's so nice that you can see like girls that I trained last year to like now I'm like, oh, you can see how well they're doing, and it's like, it's a different level of reward,
literally. And it's not people coming in like, right, I want this, can you do this? Right. It's like, I want to learn from you because I think you're amazing. That's just lovely. Do you know
really
what I mean?
Nice, 100%.
So I definitely would want to get into that. And just staff predicament, but I'm still not really sure about what to do with that. But
I think it is definitely one of them things that you have to proper think about and think about what you want from it, and like what suits you. Do you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I think it's one of them things that when you let people in, it's like it depends how much of the brand side. If you're gonna rent a chair, then it's not so bad. But how much of the brand want to, like obviously when you guys worked for me, it was all about like the way we did things and the kind of look that we did, and then everyone kind of worked the same. So it's kind of like if you wanted to do that thing, or just be like, oh, it'd be nice to have someone here to do the same, and like
you just work alongside me,
like, even that like talking to like, oh, what do you think of this? And it's always nice, isn't it, just to get someone's opinion.
I miss like, again, when we all used to work together, like when I worked with Luce or when I worked with you and Shaz. I loved like when we all used to talk and the clients were all involved. Like, I miss like that bigger dynamic.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, I absolutely love being on my own because I feel like I really personally know all my clients, and that's because of really that.
Nice thing. Like when you work by yourself with your client, they open up so much more to you, don't they?
100%.
Like, I definitely noticed that change when there was more of us. It was like you get to know someone so well, and then you don't speak so much about maybe more personal things because there is obviously more people in the room. 100%. Kind of thing.
People don't want to allow out all their business to the whole salon. But so when they're with you, they'll tell you their whole life story.
That is so true.
Darkest, deepest secrets. And I'm the same. I'm the biggest oversharer there is ever.
Yeah, I mean, but I feel like that is probably why people love you and come to you. Do you know what I mean? Because
100%.
you are probably the most welcoming, like chilled out very chilled out person.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit too chilled out sometimes. But I think that's obviously shows in like when you used to be obviously on our stories quite a lot when you worked here, people would really see that and like know you and be like,
disastrous life.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what people love about you, that they'll, you know, maybe sometimes just want to come to you rather than like, you know, obviously work's amazing, but do you know what I mean? Like they'd be like, oh, I really like her, I'd like to like meet her, that sort of
100%,
thing.
but because as well you're in the chair for all them hours. Why would you want to go to someone that doesn't really speak to you, doesn't take any interest in your life, or doesn't, do you know what I mean? I feel like it's so important when you are being a hairdresser is to really try and and like you've just got to be a real people person, even if you're having a bad day. You've just got to kind of but I feel like when I'm having a bad day, which to be fair is quite rare, I'm quite a happy person. But like if ever I, you know, if ever I was having a bad day, I feel like work completely distracts me.
100%.
Oh my God, like I'd go into work feeling a bit down, but I feel like when you speak to people, and like your clients, they become your friends and people 100%. That you could go out with and people that you like, whatever, and you just get on with them so well.
Well,
and
I think
just
you've made lots of your mates like from being clients, aren't they?
Which loads of my friends, which is lovely.
Is so nice, you know.
Especially when you do what we do, it's always people of like our age, like it. And do you know what I mean? Girls that are like, we love getting our extensions done, like, so it's automatically going to make you a bit similar.
There's always like that mutual ground, isn't there? That they love doing what you do. Okay, so obviously, we had a conversation the other day, and I sort of said to you about how I recently got diagnosed with ADHD, but it's actually called ADD. So people who don't know the difference, ADHD is more of like the hyper sort of side of things, and then ADD is more like concentration, like getting distracted. I mean, that is just probably me and you, like sometimes. I don't know how we get anything done, to be honest with you. But also, it's a bit of a superpower because I feel like people with ADD or ADHD are very driven and are very like on a motor all the time. So you're always kind of like doing this and that. Obviously, I know you've never been diagnosed, but we definitely probably think if I've got it, you've got it.
Probably got it 10 times worse.
Worse, yeah.
Double dosage of the medication,
literally.
Please.
How do you feel like that affects you, like day to day? Because I always feel like you have these stories, and I feel like we always say they'd only happen to you.
I know. Chaos. All the time.
And it's not even anything you tend to do, but things just happen.
No, they do. Things just happen to me.
I feel like maybe you broke a mirror at some point.
Oh yeah, probably about 10.
But
it's lasted a lifetime.
Literally. So how do you feel like that bothers you much in life, or do you feel like you're just used to it now and you just crack on? Or do you think it slows you down of anything you do or not?
I mean, there's two sides of it, isn't it? I feel like number one is quite entertaining. Like I feel like my life would probably be quite boring if it wasn't the way I was.
I feel like you could actually probably write a bit.
I actually think I could. Like when I start telling people things, they're like, "Oh my God," and then that, and then that, and then that, and then that.
I know. It's actually mad, isn't it? Maybe you should have your own podcast just talking about your life and your stories.
I'll get the CEO one. But yeah, I feel like it. Like you say, people who have got that are definitely more likely to be more, because you get an idea in your head and you're going to go ahead with it. 100%. You're also like on the go 24/7. You don't want to stop.
Yeah.
I'm saying but like you're not lazy people. Do you know what I mean? You want to be doing things all the time,
100%.
and that's amazing because it's going to make you automatically a hard worker and things like that. But then at the same time, the concentration side of things. Because I know before we've both said, haven't we, when we sit there and read something, sometimes it's really hard for it to...
like learning, like something that I'm learning from a bit of paper, I'm like, oh my God, like it won't ever like sink in.
Even when I go to a restaurant, I read the menu and I'm not even reading it, but I'm like looking at it. But in my head, I'm like thinking like, oh my God, like what am I doing?
It's because
you're
thinking of everything else that's going on.
And then I read the menu and then the waiter comes over, oh, which one? I'm like, 5 more minutes, please. I've not even bloody read it.
And that's the thing. Like, I feel like you said, when you get an idea, you just want to go with it. And I think me and you are very much like that. Everything we've ever said, we're like, yeah, we'll do that, that. And we, you know, pretty much have done that. But just you feel like day to day with, I mean, I suppose like paperwork, I think is probably not too much, but just general life, you know, do you feel like you don't know what I'm trying to say.
Like, does it hold me back?
Yeah, like do you think it holds you back or not?
No,
I don't think so.
Only when it's to do with, like you say, concentration, and also like what I was saying earlier about me being bad on my stories and my Instagram. Yeah, I feel like in my head, I'm generally like, oh my God, this is the biggest task ever. Like, or I'll start doing it, and then I'll go off it and do something else. So that's where it would hold me back. But apart from that, no. Like if anything, like I like being a bit chaotic. I think it's like and having like a
and that's the thing. Like it makes you like who you are at the end of the day. And it's crazy, isn't it? Because I feel like nowadays when we speak about it, it's actually a lot more common.
Oh, of course it is.
Than what it is. You know, like when you speak about it years ago, it's never really been such a thing. But now it's like
when I was younger, my mum would be like, "Katie, you're so clumsy. You're so chaotic. You don't look after anything. You just here, there, and everywhere." When actually, I mean, not that I have been diagnosed with anything, but it's like the more sort of like these things that obviously now have come out that you think, oh, well, actually that maybe that is why I'm like that. You know, that sort of thing. Definitely. Now there's people take a lot more like interest in, you know, mental health in general compared 100%. To what they did years ago. Do you know what I mean? Like weren't even a thing, was it? Like
no, like years ago would never, like I think even people like just general people now are just thinking like, okay, well why am I like that? Or like what can I do to improve myself?
Yeah,
like
definitely.
People's like personal development is, I feel like everyone's always trying to improve themselves. Like, what can they do next, you know? Which goes on to me thinking, obviously, what do you want to do next? Obviously, you said about training, maybe get some people to work for you. Do you feel like you would maybe move location or you stay where you are?
What, as in like me
Personally?
personally?
Hair Bae. Would you like keep the shop you're at, or would you think, okay, you're going to expand, you're going to go bigger, or you're just going to think, okay, I'll just keep it as where I am?
I don't know. The thing is, obviously, I'm not from the area where I've got my salon, which if people watching this know me, I get it all the time. Oh my God, I live an hour away from where my salon is, and people are like, what the hell are you doing? Why have you got it there? But the thing was, when I worked for you, I was driving 45 minutes from home, and it was like I was just used to that travel, and then like all my clients were further that way, and the thing is and
now you've probably got such a client base that way you can't come back,
so I don't at all regret it, and I don't want to live in Colchester either. So me personally, I'm going to move. But I don't know about salon. I feel like I do quite well there in the location that I am. And like I'm not far from, for example, like Dartford Crossing, so like people, it's not as far.
I suppose like the radius that you can cover is actually quite a lot, isn't it?
Definitely. So I don't think I would move it because I would want something better. But I would have maybe moved the location.
Yeah.
Do you get what I
mean?
You
might go like that location, but bigger or something in time.
But I don't know, like what we were saying earlier about like you know, like a high street shop or something. That's never really interested me.
Yeah, it's funny. Like
I don't know why.
I mean, I know obviously like South Woodham is a little bit more, but not really, because I feel like
it's still quite out of the way though, and it's like a little.
And I think people like it's like personal, you know, like people love that personal like touch. And I don't know about you, but I don't even like walking into salons.
No,
I don't like walking into salons.
No, we've always said that.
Haven't we? Like I feel like big thing that when you worked for me, it was always one of them things where if anyone walks in, they're going to be spoken to and greeted like 100%, straight away.
That was always a big thing.
There was never, like, I would never want someone just stood there awkwardly being like, oh, does anyone know my name? Or like, you know, so it's one of them things, isn't it, that you think, oh, actually, I'll go there because they are so warm and welcoming over like, oh, I don't want to walk into a massive shop and no one look at me.
Amount of times we used to get, oh my God, you girls are actually really nice.
I know. Yeah, you're actually really nice.
You're actually really nice, thanks. Yeah. But I do see why, because like the perception of, you know, big hairy dreams on Instagram might look a bit intimidating to people. Yeah. People probably think, oh my God, like, or there's going to be people in there that are all like these beautiful, stunning like models, and that they're going to feel maybe a bit intimidated by 100%. That. But when you come in, you realise that we're like, we was actually just a really nice bunch of girls, and it was nice.
Yeah, exactly.
And it is a personal place that you can go and
100%. Yeah, definitely. So, if you were not to do hair, what do you think you would do?
I would probably go and get a job on like British Air. No, actually, I'd either do that, something to do with travel, like, you know, like go work for like Emirates or something and go be an air hostess. Or I think I would just wouldn't live in this country anymore. I think I'd move to Australia or move somewhere. Yeah, I wouldn't. You
could actually be a really good hairdresser in Australia.
But that always scares me because I think like I feel like I want to go on holiday there. Like one of my friends lives in Australia, and she's like, you can't do it as a holiday because you're not going to get
the real life.
Yeah, she's like, you just need to. It needs to be all or nothing. You need to either just up and move, or like she's like, you're not going to get what you yeah, you'll love it on holiday, obviously. She was like, but you're not going to get like the
realities of it.
And like, obviously, when you go out there, you meet people and whatever that isn't going to probably happen on holiday, is it?
Of course,
Do you know what I mean?
So you would never think about like private investigator?
What are you trying to say? I would be quite good at that, to be fair.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That you'd be amazing at that. If we're just if there's a bloke or anything that anyone comes in, Katie's like, found him. And I'm like, you should be literally
sign me up.
You should be a personal investigator.
Yeah,
honestly,
do you know what?
Be probably rammed. Like you'd be fully booked.
Yeah, and the thing is, people wouldn't think that I'd be one, so I'd be even really better at being one because people wouldn't think that I'd be capable of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, I think I'd be good at that.
Yeah.
What about you? What would you do if you didn't do hair?
I don't know. I think if I had my time again, not that I'm old. Well, I am quite old, but I don't know.
If I had my time again, you're not 90.
I always think I quite like the idea of being a solicitor.
Do you? Yeah.
But just the not like investigator, but like I don't know. I just think all that stuff's really interesting.
Yeah, it is.
But then I don't know. I do love what I do, so I don't know. But yeah, maybe something a bit more like in depth.
Yeah.
But then I don't think I'm that assertive, so maybe I wouldn't be that good in court.
Oh my God, I'd be awful. I'd be like, yes, all right, babe, you can get away with it. No worries. Killed your nan. 2 years. Because I felt sorry for him.
That would be any old person. Any old person, you'd be like, oh, no, it's fine.
No worries. Yeah, like granddad runs over their grandson. I'd be like, oh, no, he's so cute.
I know.
Come and live with me. The next thing I'll get killed.
That would actually be you if them old people would be hilarious.
Oh, no, I love old people.
But
yeah, I would do that, but I do feel so great. Like, I didn't even want to be a hairdresser.
Did you not?
No.
How did I not know that?
Oh.
Did you not?
No.
Oh, actually, hang on. Well, when you first... You obviously went to childcare, didn't you, first of all?
Well, I went to sixth form when I left school for maybe like a month. I absolutely hated it.
You did childcare, didn't you?
And health and social care.
Oh,
yeah, but I actually wanted to be a nurse. I don't really know why. I just did. I just had this idea in my head, yeah. And then I got a job in a salon, like literally just...
Like washing hair or whatever.
Yeah, like just got asked to go and help someone on a Friday. It was like someone that I already knew and stuff. So they were like, do you want to come help me on a Friday? Well, she actually said, would any of your friends want to come work for me on a Friday? And I was like, I'll do it. She was like, really? I went, yep. I went, but you will never get me being a hairdresser. I said, don't even try. I went,
no.
Honestly, I said,
I never knew this.
I was like, I'll never ever get me being a hairdresser. I was
like, funny.
I wouldn't be very good at it. I wouldn't, like, it's not a bit of me at all. And she was like, oh, don't be silly. Like, you're just going to literally be making the tea, like, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. So then I was still going to college. Yeah. I was working at the zoo as well. Do you remember when I used to work at the zoo? And I was working in the salon just on a Friday. And then I used to work in the cafe in the zoo, right? And people used to come in and, like, moan at you if, like, you gave them like one chip less or a bit of their beam was on their fish finger, like seriously. So I started working in this salon and I was like, do you know what? People are so nice. Like, you used to come in and like the people that you dealt with, like the public you dealt with.
Lovely, yeah.
Are so nice. So I was like, oh, do you know what? This is actually quite nice. And then like I started like maybe doing like a couple of blow dries and I was like, oh, I actually quite like this. And then I hated the course that I was doing anyway. I really wasn't doing well. So I quit. I had 6 weeks left of my college course and I quit.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And I thought, I don't want to do it. I didn't do any of my coursework. I had about 20 essay things to write. And I was like, I didn't do anything for the whole year. Had it all to do. No. I had 6 weeks left and I was like, do you know what? I don't like it. I'm not going to do it. And I literally left and...
That was it?
Yeah, so who I was working for at the time, she was like, yeah, well, I've got full-time. She had a girl who was going to be her apprentice and she couldn't do it because I think like she had a bad back or something.
Right.
And she was like, well, job's here. Like, I went home to her crying once and I said, I hate college. I'm not doing well. And she went, Katie, you'd be such a good hairdresser. She went, you're so good with the clients. You've just got to learn it. She went, honestly, you'd be amazing. And I was like, I'm just going to do it. But even when I went to college, I still was a bit like, oh, I'm just kind of doing this for the sake of it. Like, I never ever like had
thought that you would actually like continue it and stick with it.
Like,
it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I remember sitting at college and there was this one girl and she was like, you know, you've always got that one person in the class that's like amazing,
knows everything. Yeah,
knows everything. She was like absolute passion was hairdressing.
Yeah.
Like she
lived and
to be
died.
fair, I've got her on things now, and like she's doing amazing for herself. So I love that for her. But even when I was at college, they'd be like, who's your role model? Who do you aspire to be? And I'd just write like Lee Stafford, because that's the only person I knew that done it. It was a hairdresser sort of thing at the time. Like, I didn't even know like.
No, I feel like probably back then as well. It wasn't really like there is so many people in the industry now, but like back then.
Yeah, but I had
like
no interest in it whatsoever. And I feel like it. When I was working for the salon I was at before you, I was enjoying it there, and I loved everyone that I worked with and stuff. But I feel like because I wasn't really doing a lot until maybe I started coming to you, that's when I started like actually really enjoying it. Yeah. And then but I actually never wanted to do it.
Oh, that's
funny that, isn't
I
it?
never knew that.
But you know me, like what we were saying earlier about me being so like clumsy, like I broke your bloody washing basket on like my first week working for you. I broke the tile.
Yeah, I know. I must have just literally said, just get rid of it now. It's going to cost me more money than anything.
Yeah, literally. And I probably did throughout the whole time. I think I broke everything. Didn't I fall off that stool? Remember when I don't know if that was with you actually, but I fell off a stool, broke your stool.
Yeah, I definitely broke a lot of stuff in the salon over the years.
Colour all over your seats and everything.
Over the salon.
But for someone that is so cack-handed, clumsy, and just a general chaotic girl, I don't know how I make the hair look so neat. It's wild, isn't it? I feel like when people first come to me, they're probably a bit scared because I'm like dropping the scissors and dropping everything and getting colour all over them, and then they're probably thinking, oh God,
who is
what's my
this
hair
girl?
gonna look like?
I know. And then you're like, boom, look at this amazing hair, and they're like, oh my God, I love it.
Yeah, literally. They probably wouldn't expect it from me.
That is actually, that's you to a T, I reckon.
Yeah, but just goes to show, if I can do it, anyone can do it.
That's very, very true. And that's the thing, I think sometimes it's like if you put your mind to something, like when I obviously train students and stuff, they're like, oh, I'm not a hairdresser. I'm like, you don't have to be a hairdresser.
No.
Like some people I know who are amazing hair extensionists who have never done it. And I'm like, if you really want to do something, you will do it. Like you'll master it, you want to do it, you know? So I think it's like one of them things, if you think, nope, I'm doing that, you can do it.
Even being an actual hairdresser though, like obviously you go to college and you train for all these years to do it, but like you can, like people that be an apprentice, they go to college one day a week for 2 years, right? Just goes to show that you actually learn on the job, because
100%.
You're at college, one day a week, what's that really going to be doing for you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Like you're learning it, watching and doing it.
Yeah, like my college course was 16 hours a week. It's nothing. Like
was it?
Years ago. I mean, this was years ago.
Did you go full-time college or was you an apprentice? You went full-time college?
Yeah, full-time college, and then I just worked Saturdays and then like evenings for a salon. That's obviously how I started. But
thing is, at college as well,
16 hours a week, you don't learn anything.
And they're so old-fashioned.
Oh, so like that's the thing. Like when you go back, like I think I did a talk at the college last year, and it was just like.
I've always meant to ask you how you got on with it.
Oh yeah, it's really
Did you
good.
Like it?
Yeah,
where
really
was
good.
It at? Institute.
Yeah. But it was just a bit like, wow, like you forget how far things have come, and it's not like, I think sometimes with the girls struggle, like when they're at college or apprenticeship and they come into the salon, they're like, it's nothing like this.
No,
you know, it's so advanced and it's so much like faster moving than it is.
But then I think you've got to look at your salon and that it is an advanced salon compared to a lot of other salons. Like there are salons out there who like, I mean, when's the last time you've done a perm on like a
college
little old dear? Like love them, but that's just not.
Yeah, that is true.
Do you know what I mean? So like if you like, I always say like the money to be made in hairdressing is always done, you know, based on your clientele. If you're doing the extensions, the big colours, the big balayages, that's what's in at the minute, the big transformations, rather than doing.
And you can charge more money because, again, obviously it takes years for you to get to that point of, you know, your skill set to charge that much money. But that's how you can justify charging it, because you've done it for years and you've learnt along the way and you've literally just been like, right, I can do this now. And that's what people are paying for, especially with you, like obviously doing everything in a day. You can take someone from like black to blonde, red, or whatever you're doing in a day.
Extensions, get like
exactly
to be able to colour the hair to match the extensions,
which is a job in itself. And I feel like people do not know the lengths of that.
But you know what I always think? I'm like, well, if that's the colour they want, that's the colour they want. I can't really do anything to change their mind on that, so I'll order it and just get on with it.
So if you were, any like tips or tricks to other people or stylists starting out in the industry, what would your like advice be?
What, as in like just in
general, like, you know, if it's business or starting out or something you might have learned?
Well, practice is the main thing. Like one day you don't like, for me, do you remember when you taught me extensions and obviously like, I could not get the hang of it, could I, at first? Like, I feel like after maybe a couple of times I could do it, but at first I just could not like do the, oh my God, do you remember the cutting in? I couldn't.
Do you know what? I feel like everyone I've teach is always the cutting in because they're always so scared to put the pressure on the scissors, and they're like, oh my God, I can't do it. I'm like, you just have to keep going in, like obviously gradually to start with, but then now you probably just done. Like my clients are like, oh, I'm like, you know, but it's because you know that now, like over time. But that is such a common thing, I think, especially when it does come to cutting them. You're like, oh, I don't want to cut. I want to take all their hair off. And also, it's not the nicest sound, is it?
No, I like it.
I like it.
Yeah,
but
people hate it. They're like,
I think people are like, oh my gosh, she's taking all my hair away. Like, what is going on?
But yeah, probably that. Just don't give up in general. Like one day you might think you're not good at it, and then the next minute you're amazing at it. Like I say, look at me. I didn't even want to be a hairdresser, and now I'm, you know,
you are
doing well, and like I love my job, and I just think, stick it through because it is one of the best jobs you could ever do.
Yeah, and rewarding as well.
Yeah, it is rewarding. There's not many jobs that, I mean, I am professional, but I'm not at the same time. Like, as in when people come into me for the first time and I'm like, you're right, like, you know, I'm not like all like, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say.
And I feel like, what job can you really be in where like you literally just feel like you're with your mates all day doing their hair, making them look
yourself.
nice?
Like you are yourself. Like as much as there's a more professional version of you, you are yourself. So I feel like people, when you do work for yourself as well, like people will take that and be like, oh, okay, rather than, not everyone wants to go to the most professional, rigid, like a salon, but then I feel like in the industry and how we've built our businesses, it's not like that anyway.
No.
It's like approachable, nice speaking, like people, like good chat rather than like, and good service over maybe, you know, something.
The things that people think you should worry about, but you shouldn't. Definitely. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. So thank you so much for coming today.
Welcome. Thanks for having me.
It's been so nice. And actually crazy, fun. Like, catching up about.
Well, it's mad going back, and I thought like some of the things we said today, I'm like, I know. Do you know what I mean?
It's
like,
so funny. And actually, I don't know about you, but I just feel like these years have just gone so quick.
No, honestly, what the hell?
Yeah, it's actually even this year, like it's just madness, isn't it?
Like I say, I was 20 when I started with you. I'm 26 now. I just think
it's mad.
Where has that gone?
I know. Yeah, it's actually crazy. So what I'll do is I will link you in. I'll put your like Instagram bio and everything so everyone can find you.
Lovely.
In the notes, and then
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.